Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the next 20 years. Believe it or not, this is going to be a Pluto and Aquarius reading. We have Pluto and Aquarius for the next 20 years. Again, as I've been saying to everyone, these are broad, general overviews of the energy that we are about to step into. So even though these are titled next 20 years, this energy is going to be affecting you now. People keep leaving comments about how they're going to be dead in 20 years. Here you go. Death card. Number one, tarot doesn't predict death. Number two, it doesn't matter. Even if you only live one more year, this energy is going to be affecting you for that 1 year. So rip, number one. Number two, again, we're looking at broad general energies here because, again, Pluto in Aquarius is a major change. It is a significant change that we are going through, and probably, the biggest change you'll ever go through in your entire life, even if you only live for another year, Taurus. So there you go. But we're going to get started right now and see what is going on for you at this time. And we're gonna just basically what we're doing is we're looking at the four main things that you could be dealing with. And you have this lion spirit. It says be generous of spirit. And I do feel that generosity is, of course, heavily rewarded, or will be heavily rewarded during Pluto and Aquarius. It's all about kind of the collective and helping the collective and all of those other things. The other thing that I would be thinking about if I were you is kind of like, what are you leaving behind, in your life in a good way? You have the Ten of Pentacles, and we also have Uranus and Taurus until the end of 2025, and that's in your sign. And Ten of Pentacles is about building or leaving a legacy, and it kind of says when you do pass on, even if that's 100 years from now, what is the mark that you're making on the world? And just based off your astrology in general, it kind of makes sense to me that a lot of you could be focusing on like the mark that you're leaving, or kind of the statement that you're making in your life. And that seems to be a major focus here in this first row. You have the Ten of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, and the Queen of Cups here. I do feel like that, as I've been beating you over the head with this one for a long time, I would be focused on your heart, like with the Queen of Cups. She, the whole point of her is that she really values her emotion. She cares about how things make her feel, and that's what she focuses on. I feel if you do that, then you will be having many victories in your life, and not just in one area of your life. Again, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is pretty much everything that you want and desire to have in your life. It forms, the Ten of Pentacles forms the tree of life on the card. So I feel for a lot of you, there's like a lot of opportunity here for you to be very successful just in life in general, especially at this time right now. Again, these readings are not meant to be like 20-year predictions, like you're waiting 20 years. This is energy that you can work with right now. So I would be working with this energy, and I wouldn't be like waiting around, right? So it's like you're building or leaving a legacy. I feel like there's a lot of excitement coming in for you here as well. Like a lot of things that are kind of making you, I think what I'm feeling here is an anticipation energy. It's almost like there are things that are happening that are having you feel like you are anticipating some sort of change, or you're anticipating something coming into your life. And what I would say here is that for some of you, like if you are feeling anxious, it could just be anticipation. The other thing that I would say is that I feel like if you're getting into situations that you need to outgrow, then you could be feeling kind of anxious, but it's not really anxiety. I think it's the universe is saying like, hey, there are these opportunities for you to grow. And if you're not growing, then you're going to be feeling stuck. And I kind of get that here. But let's see. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, very, very independent time. I mean, I have a feeling that pretty much everyone will probably get the Nine of Pentacles. You have it twice here. Again, Pluto and Aquarius is all about the collective, but it's also about the individual. We can't just take astrology and be like, oh, it's just this one side. It's not this side, that side. It's kind of like we have to work with, I look at astrology as working with the energy, and we have to work with both sides. So collective and then ourself. And so, a lot of us could be looking for ways to set ourselves apart because everything is going to be so collective. Everything is going to be so together energy. So don't be afraid of your own uniqueness. With the Six of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups. I mean, I could just end your reading right here. Probably shouldn't say that, but what I'd say is if you value your heart and if you do the things that you value inside your heart, then you are going to be very successful here, Taurus. I mean, it just shows up that, your heart is going to lead to a victory. And with the Queen of Cups, you have the King of Pentacles. Again, if you're looking for love, definitely could be attracting love at this time. Could be a water sign or an earth sign. Water and earth and fire really stand out to me here as well. So it could be any sign, but what I would say is, kind of like water, I would say water and earth are like tied, fire, and then everything else below that. So it could lead to something permanent. But again, I also feel that because of Uranus and Taurus, the King of Pentacles is Taurus, and he really kind of wants permanent and permanent success, and he also wants freedom. So I feel like that's what you're focused on. For the next thing you could be dealing with energetically, you have this envy protection card. It says eye on it. I feel like you are protected at this time. And I would be careful of people getting you caught up in those, in kind of like rushing thoughts. We actually see that right here with the King of Swords. For some of you Taurus people, I feel like you need to stop thinking that you're doing something wrong. It pops into my head like right away. With this Knight of Swords energy, I feel like, if you have a YouTube channel or if you have a business or something you're doing, it's like there could be haters, that are coming towards you, even right now as I'm doing this video, and they might be saying things, but they're not true. I feel like you need to stop. It's almost like you're accepting things that aren't true as true into your life. That's like literally what's popping to my head here. So I feel for some of you, it's just saying don't do that. No rushing at this time either. You have the Lovers as well. Definitely could be love coming in for you. I mean, you have the Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. Even if we go like this is like an amazing love position. So for a lot of you, this could be like a true love coming in for you during Pluto and Aquarius. It could be happening right at the beginning as well. Again, like I said, these aren't things that you're waiting 20 years for. These readings are meant to represent the energy of the next 20 years. That's the entire 20 years. So, I feel for a lot of you could be love. I also feel there are going to be like important decisions that you need to make, but these are going to be spiritually guided. You have several cards here that really represent spiritual guidance. The Lovers, this right here is your higher self angel. So I do feel like you need to kind of like listen to your higher self through meditation or through pretty much anything else you want to do. You have the Death card. So again, the reason I'm doing these readings, is because this is a significant change, Pluto and Aquarius. So, I think it's just, this card is basically saying we are going through a significant change, which we are, of course, that's the whole point. And, I think there are a lot of changes, but I think there's a lot of good things coming in for you. And, one thing I will say is that the Death card can represent the death of establishment. You can see that this king right here is dead on the card, and it just kind of says that maybe some things that have been established in your life for a very long time, those things might be going away. And that is just the nature of Pluto and Aquarius. It's literally going into Aquarius, retrograding into Capricorn. The whole point of it being a Capricorn is the breakdown of structure. So, things that have been established could be going away. With the Death card, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, it's just time for a new adventure. It's time to explore new things. We even see it this way. I think stepping into the unknown, it's kind of like a collective energy, honestly, but, I think stepping into the unknown is going to make people very successful during Pluto and Aquarius, because Pluto and Aquarius is innovation. And so if you're doing the same things that you've been doing for many years, you're probably not going to be as successful if you try as if you were to try something new or something innovative in any area of your life. With the Lovers, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, the new path for you is going to lead to success. Anything new, I'm pretty sure I said this in your last reading, anything new that you want to do is going to lead to success. I would also say you could be having success in love, of course. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Seven of Wands here. Yes, I would defend yourself from this energy. We literally, I don't even know why. That's not what the Knight of Swords means, troll energy necessarily or anything like that. But that's what I was getting intuitively when I saw that card. So I feel like for some of you, it is clearly saying be careful of the trolls. Be careful of people hating and things like that. I would just completely ignore it. I wouldn't even engage in the energy, because I think that'll cause more problems for you, basically. Next, you have this card that says, you have special gifts. Never surrender to the normal. The moon literally says, do not be normal. You have this card that says the past. If you noticed, it was reversed. I don't read reversals, period, but I definitely wouldn't read them if I did, in oracles anyway. But this card says the past is coming back. Old jobs, old connections. Look to the past to understand the future, a lesson or an old skill. You know what's weird is when this was like this, I was reading it as therapist or something like that, even though it says the past. So some of you, might be a good time for therapy and things like that. Aquarius, I guess I can kind of see it, right? Pluto and Aquarius, but there's other things. Saturn and Pisces, right? I think Saturn going into Pisces this year, 2023, definitely could be a good time for people to, go to therapy and things like that. But it did pop into my head. The other thing that I would say is I don't think you're going back to the past here. I feel like this is encouraging you to embrace your special talents, gifts, skills, and abilities. These could be, talents, gifts, skills, and abilities you've had your entire life. But we have the moon here. And what did this card say again? It said, never surrender to the normal. And that would be the moon, The moon is unusual. The moon is a path that you have to take alone. You have to go to these mountains in the background there, and mountains in the tarot represent achievements. So I feel like there are a lot of achievements for you in the very near future, but it's almost as if you have to, I don't want to say that you have to go through something. It's not like, oh, this is like something that you have to go through. But I think what you're going through is like an unusual journey, or, what is The Hobbit? The Hobbit is called the unusual journey or whatever. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I'm not going to waste your time here trying to remember. But, again, unexpected journey, right? It's not really unexpected. I think it's just unusual. Maybe the path that you are on right now. And this path that you are on right now, especially during Pluto and Aquarius, is going to be to freedom. I've literally been saying this to you for months, years, probably, because of Uranus and Taurus. To me, it is going to make you want more freedom. If you are in any situation that makes you feel restricted, you are probably going to want to run away from it. Plain and simple. I wouldn't run away from situations. Again, if you're feeling restricted in any situation, I'm not suggesting that you stay in those situations, but what I am suggesting is that maybe you look at the places in your life where you feel restricted. Could be anything. Could be a relationship, a business. And I suggest you just look at it and say, why, what is it that makes it feel restricted? Why do I feel restricted in this situation? Will you probably leave those things? Absolutely. But I wouldn't just leave without kind of understanding why, right? I think that's going to be very important. Aquarius is very inquisitive and needs to know things. So I would be getting the answers as to why you don't want to face certain things in your life, or why they make you feel restricted. And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. This isn't saying oh, you have to stay in this relationship that you want to run away from. Absolutely not. It's just what is it? Can you figure it out so that, number one, you can avoid it, and number two, so that you can learn from it. But I think there's going to be a lot of freedom in being able to do that. You also have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is definitely independence coming in for you. You have the Nine of Pentacles twice. Could be some financial opportunities coming in for you here. I do feel like it's kind of like a weird time, because I think that there's more money to be made than ever. Right? I mean, I think we could easily see our first trillionaire during Pluto and Aquarius. Absolutely. And, plus there's a million other things that are going on that could totally make that possible. And by the way, first public trillionaire. I'm sure there's some secret society, people that are trillionaires. But, what I would say here is that we could see that. So there's more money to be made more than ever. But it's also going to require a lot of elbow grease. It's also going to require getting to the truth of a matter as well. It's as I've been saying, it's I think there's more success than ever, but it's going to require work. And, if you do it, you will be successful, whatever you're working on. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Death card again, right next to the Death card. So some of you are clearly ending a cycle. Sometimes I feel like death is, death to me is a positive change in general. So there's some sort of positive change here. With the moon, you have the sun. Love it. I think you are leaving behind a moon period and you're just entering into a sun period. A period of happiness, joy, probably much, much easier than the last 20 years have been of your life. Maybe they haven't, of course, there are always going to be ups and downs. Maybe the last 20 years haven't been terrible, but I think this is a significant improvement for you. It's going to be, much, much better. And again, there will be highs, there will be lows. Of course, that's life. Sometimes people, I think, watch tarot and they think it's all sunshine, rainbows. No, of course not. It's life. We have to deal with things, but for the most part, probably a little bit easier. With the Four of Wands, you have the Hangman here. Love this symbolism of this Hangman, because he's like a caterpillar. It looks like he's about to start turning into a chrysalis so he can become a butterfly. And so I do feel a lot of you, that is the Death card. The Death is literally a transformation. So it's you're going through some pretty big transformations right now here, Taurus. And I think these transformations are going to be very beneficial for you. I also feel like these, it's almost like you're becoming much more brave, much more bold. And it's not even, the funny thing is that intuitively, I feel like your fears have gone nowhere. I think you're just facing the fears. And, maybe that's the change that is happening that's making you more successful, or allowing you to be more successful. You have this Hands of Fate card. It says, forces beyond your control intervene. I feel like this is a good thing, because I feel like you are being guided. I also feel the universe really is pushing you to certain, is pushing you towards certain opportunities. And, I would pay attention to these opportunities. I also feel it's a good time to get, to clean out anything toxic in your life. You have the Devil with the Six of Pentacles. it's like I don't hate that. I don't love it either. Although, again, is it bad? I would say no, it's not bad. It's just more like, can you look at things in your life and say, this steals my energy, this thing over here doesn't steal my energy, and goes for all things in your life. What I would say is that, I believe that over the next few years, that we're going to see many truths being revealed. It's already started. And we're going to see many truths coming out. It's like, why do you think like the FTX guy, like in crypto, we have all these people getting exposed for things, and it's just going to happen more and more and more. And Pluto and Aquarius really wants us to kind of live our truth. And it's not about lying. This is about saying, like, are there situations that are not honest, that are not the truth for you, that are stealing your time, effort, and energy? And can you honestly look at those situations and say, like, hey, this relationship isn't worth it. This person in my business isn't worth it. Can you face those things head on? And can you be brave and assertive and kind of like stand up for yourself by leaving or setting yourself free, like we talked about with the Four of Wands? I also feel like for a lot of you that you've just learned how to tell the difference between these two things. The other thing I would say is that, what I'm kind of getting here is I feel like you are learning to tell the difference between people who operate from like their animal instincts. These people, they have horns on their heads, and it kind of represents our baser instincts, right? And it's like I think that what we will see in the world is, some people being in reaction mode, just reacting to things, Knight of Swords, moving too quickly, not being logical, not thinking about this, that, and the other thing, not weighing the options, right? I think if you can be level-headed, that you're going to have a very successful time, obviously. You have the Nine of Swords as well. I think that in a lot of ways that there are certain matters that could become more pressing, in your life. And this is not like a bad thing. It's almost like you're just looking at certain things that have been a nightmare or certain nightmares in your life. And the good news is again, I think you're removing these things from your life. This isn't like you're looking at these things to keep them in your life. Nine of Swords to me is a never-ending nightmare. But when we see it, we can bring it to an end. So anything that has been a nightmare, I kind of feel like you're bringing those situations to an end. You have the Knight of Wands as well. I would definitely be as open as possible to adventure. As I've said to pretty much everyone, I think that, any mental adventures, but also any physical adventures could be very successful at this time. With the Six of Pentacles and the Devil, you have the Two of Cups. Could be a soulmate coming in for you, and it could be a Capricorn. For sure. I would say pay attention to the Six of Pentacles, which is equal give and take. Six of Pentacles says trust the evidence. If you put a little bit in, do they also put a little bit in? Is there a nice back and forth? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, stop, right? Plain and simple. So I think if you follow those rules, you'll be very successful. Doesn't even have to just be love. Could be business. Could be work. Could be, anything. Just pay attention to that. With the Nine of Swords, you have the High Priestess. Definitely time to trust your intuition. I feel like it's time to get out into the world. She is withdrawn, the High Priestess. She is, kind of has her back to the world. There is a way to read the High Priestess where it says that she's kind of like tuning out the outside world. Not necessarily a bad thing, because she's maybe trying to get some inner answer. She's trying to intuitively look at things. She normally has 3 levels or 3 stages of the moon on her crown as well. And those 3 stages represent the fact that she sees the beginning, middle, and end of every situation as she wants it to go in her life. She sees it, meaning she creates it with her imagination. She's not intuitively seeing it. It hasn't happened yet. So she understands, yes, I need to trust my intuition, but she also understands she can create her own reality with her thoughts. And I feel like some of you need to do that. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Three Wands. Yeah, what are you waiting for? Definitely time for you to make some big moves. I think that's true for everyone. I think that basically we need to be super bold and assertive. Again, I've been saying for 2 years now that fortune favors the bold, and that's going to matter for the next 20 years. Anything you can do to be bold, to be assertive, to stand up for yourself, to go and get the things that you want in life, that's just going to make you much more successful here, Taurus. So that's that, Taurus. Let's see. We're going to pull 5 more things for you here for the energy of the next 20 years. Let's see. You have this flirtation card. I definitely feel there could be love coming in. I feel like it's at the beginning of the 20 years, of course. We have some really good love energy coming in over the next few years. And, it wouldn't really surprise me if love comes up for you. You have this vision card. So a lot of people have had this card. And again, I do feel that our focus and our vision is going to be very important. You literally have this eye card. So I would keep your eye on the prize. I would stay focused on exactly how you want your life to go. I think that's the most important thing here. Next, you have this control card. I feel like you are taking control of your world. You can see this kind of looks like the world card to me. he's sitting on the world. It's even got this like snake, which kind of looks like the wreath, and it even has like almost like the signs and the clouds up here. So I do feel like there are some accomplishments coming in for you. And this is Jupiter in Capricorn, so it's like worldly accomplishments that could be coming in for you here. I also feel that some of you, of course, could be traveling, which we kind of saw here. If you're thinking about traveling or moving, definitely would be good. You have this defense card. I don't think there's anything you need to do other than ignore negative situations, right? Just do not engage. I think that's really, people keep saying to me, whenever I bring this stuff up right now, especially because we just had Mars retrograde in Gemini, they're like, all these people are talking about me and everything like that. I'm like, the best thing you can do, literally, is to not engage and just focus on the truth. What is the truth, right? And nothing else matters right now, is other than your truth, right? That's all you need to focus on. And if people are lying, gossiping, everything like that, it's just going to make you guilty if you try to defend yourself. So I think the best thing to do is just don't engage, period. Don't feed the trolls, as they say, right? And finally, for your fifth thing, you have this risk card. To me, it is a risk right now. Being alive is a risk. You know what I mean? You could cross the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus. I saw someone get hit by a car and die on a very slow road when I was younger. So it's like it could totally happen. And what I would say here is that, I think that the people who kind of like take risks to move into new areas of life, to also work together, this looks like the Three of Pentacles right here. And I always say this card to me kind of represents like teamwork or needing to work on a team. I think doing all those things will just make you much more successful. So this looks really good, Taurus. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.